Imagine this. While Europe was building castles, fighting crusades, and dealing with the Black Death, right here in what we now call the United States, massive cities rose with populations bigger than London's, without kings, knights, or even the wheel. Cahokia, near modern St. Louis, peaked with 20,000 people around 1100 AD, its earthen pyramids dwarfing anything in medieval Paris. In the northeast, Iroquois confederacies debated politics in longhouses centuries before the U.S. Constitution. Southwest cliff dwellings housed ingenious farmers irrigating deserts. These weren't primitive tribes. They were complex societies with trade networks, elites, wars, and rituals. But why have you never heard this story? Hit like if you're shocked, subscribe for more hidden history, and comment below. Say, Cahokia or Pueblos? Which blows your mind more? Stick around as we uncover America's true Middle Ages. To understand America's medieval era, we must first shatter the myth of an empty wilderness. The European Middle Ages spanned roughly 500 to 1500 AD, a time of feudal lords, cathedrals, and the fall of Rome's shadow. Across the Atlantic, in the land that would become the United States, no such vacuum existed. Hundreds of indigenous nations thrived in isolation, developing agriculture, urban centers, and governance systems rivaling Europe's complexity. Picture the timeline. As Charlemagne crowned himself emperor in 800 AD, Mississippi Valley farmers were domesticating maize strains that fed tens of thousands. While the Magna Carta was signed in 1215, Iroquois leaders formalized their Great League of Peace around the same era, influencing later American democracy. And as the Renaissance stirred in Italy by 1400, Southwest Pueblos engineered cliffside metropolises that still stun archaeologists. These societies weren't monolithic. North America's medieval inhabitants numbered in the millions, divided by ecology. Eastern woodlands farmers, plains bison hunters, desert Southwest irrigators, Pacific Northwest fishermen. Key crops like the Three Sisters, maize, beans, squash, sustained dense populations, enabling specialization. Trade routes spanned continents. Copper from the Great Lakes reached Florida shells in Oklahoma. Turquoise from New Mexico adorned Midwest elites. No writing systems dominated like Europe's Latin scripts, but oral traditions, wampum belts, and petroglyphs preserved knowledge. Socially, hierarchies emerged. Chiefs advised by councils, shamans wielding spiritual power, warriors earning status through raids. Women often held sway in matrilineal clans, managing farms and diplomacy, contrasting Europe's patriarchal feudalism. Environment shaped everything. The medieval warm period, 900–1300 AD, boosted agriculture, allowing Cahokia's boom. But the Little Ice Age's onset brought droughts, testing resilience. Warfare intensified over resources, yet alliances formed via marriages and treaties. Eurocentrism erased this narrative. Columbus's 1492 arrival portrayed a new world as pristine, ignoring millennia of human ingenuity. Archaeology, mound excavations, dendrochronology, LiDAR scans now reveals the truth. America's medieval map was as vibrant as Europe's, with cities, states, and collapses all its own. This sets the stage for our deep dive. From Mississippi megacities to forest federations and desert strongholds, these forgotten powers redefine medieval. No horses, no iron plows, yet achievements that matched or exceeded the old world. As we explore, remember, history isn't Europe's monopoly. America had its own epic. Enter Cahokia, the crown jewel of North America's medieval urbanism, located in modern Illinois, across from St. Louis. Flourishing from 1050 to 1350 AD, peak of Europe's High Middle Ages, this Mississippian culture hub sprawled over 6 square miles, housing 10,000 to 20,000 people. That's larger than contemporary London, 15,000, or Paris, 20,000, without stone cathedrals or feudal oaths. At its heart stood Monk's Mound, a 100-foot earthen pyramid covering 14 acres, bigger in footprint than Egypt's Great Pyramid. Flanked by 120 smaller mounds for elites, temples, and burials, it anchored a grid of plazas, homes, and workshops. Stockade walls with watchtowers defended against rivals, enclosing wood frame houses plastered with clay. Society stratified sharply. A priestly warrior elite dwelled atop mounds in grand homes, adorned in copper plates, shell gorgets, and feather cloaks. Commoners farmed fertile floodplains, growing maize yields up to 10 times Europe's wheat per acre, thanks to rich, loess soils. Diets blended 80% crops with deer, fish, and wild plants, sustainable until over-farming strained resources. Trade pulsed through Cahokia like medieval Venice. Conch shells from the Gulf Coast, Gulf flint, Appalachian mica, and Lake Superior copper flowed in. Finished goods radiated out. Chipped stone hoes, symbolic maces, and bi-pointed arrows suggest specialized artisans. Rituals centered on solar alignments. Wood-henge circles tracked solstices for planting rites. Daily life buzzed. Women ground corn into hominy. Men hunted with bows and atlatls. Children played with stone marbles. Ball games in plazas built alliances or settled disputes, akin to Europe's jousts. Burials reveal inequality. Mound 72 held 272 bodies, including retainer sacrifices in a beehive grave, signaling divine kingship. What caused collapse? Around 1350, Cahokia emptied. Climate data shows megadroughts from 1150–1450, depleting game and crops. Overhunting depleted deer. Political unrest from elite overreach sparked emigration. By 1400, mounds reclaimed by forest, rediscovered only in the 19th century. Cahokia wasn't alone. Etowah in Georgia, Moundville in Alabama mirrored it, Mississippian chiefdoms numbering dozens, each with mound complexes. Ancestors of Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek carried traditions forward. This urban pulse challenges the nomadic savage trope. Cahokia was a state-level society, complete with cosmology, economy, and engineering feats like ramp-built pyramids using millions of baskets of dirt. Visualize it. Sunrise over Monk's Mound, smoke rising from thatched roofs, canoes laden with tribute on the Mississippi. Europe's knights charged on horseback. Cahokia's warriors canoed into battle. A true American medieval powerhouse, lost to time until now. Next, we head northeast to forest-born democracies. Shifting east to the woodlands around the Great Lakes and Appalachians, we find no pyramids but profound political innovation. From 1500 AD, Algonquian and Iroquoian peoples built semi-sedentary villages foreshadowing modern governance, centuries before Europe's parliaments. The Haudenosaunee, Iroquois Confederacy, Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca, crystallized around 1142 AD per oral tradition and tree ring dating. 5 nations, later 6 with Tuscarora, united under the Great Law of Peace, a constitution etched in wampum belts. Sachems, leaders, elected by clan mothers, debated in longhouses, elongated bark dwellings housing 50–100 people each. Villages clustered 500–2,000 strong amid cleared fields of Three Sisters crops, yielding surpluses for trade and feasting. Palisades ringed settlements against raids. Diplomacy via mourning wars replenished populations lost to conflict. Women farmed, owned longhouses, nominated leaders, power dynamics flipping Europe's male-dominated feudalism. Material culture reflected balance: pottery, woven baskets, quill-decorated hides, bows, clubs, and scalping knives armed warriors, salmon runs, and maple syrup-sweetened diets. Ceremonies like the Green Corn Festival thanked creators, with false face masks invoking spirits. Confederacy mechanics amazed Europeans later. Consensus councils vetoed war. Women could depose unfit sachems. This influenced Ben Franklin and the U.S. founders, echoes in federalism and checks balances. Algonquian neighbors like Lenape, Shawnee mirrored this, decentralized chiefdoms with flexible alliances. Challenges mirrored Europe's. Little Ice Age cooling post-1300 shortened seasons, sparking migrations. Beaver pelt trade boomed pre-contact economies. Archaeological sites like New York's Ganondagan reveal burned villages from intertribal strife. These weren't primitive. They managed territories via treaty networks, sustaining populations denser than Europe's forests. Longhouses symbolized unity, fire hearths for clans, doors for peace war paths. Imagine council smoke curling as elders invoke sky woman creation myth, forging peace amid rivalries. This northeast model contrasts Cahokia's hierarchy with egalitarian federalism, proving America's medieval diversity. From wooden forts to wampum diplomacy, it was a political laboratory. Now venture southwest to desert metropolises clinging to cliffs. The arid southwest birthed another marvel, ancestral Puebloans, Anasazi to Chacoans, Mogolon, Hohokam, from 500–1300 AD. In New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado canyons, they engineered apartment cities defying deserts, Europe's equivalent to monastic orders taming wilderness. Chaco Canyon, 850–1150 AD, anchored a 100,000 square mile network. Pueblo Bonito housed 800 and 600 rooms of sandstone adobe, multi-story with kivas, circular ceremonial chambers for Sipapu emergence rites. Great houses aligned to solstices, roads 30 feet wide stretched 400 miles, possibly for pilgrimage. Irrigation wizardry fed them. Dams, canals from arroyos watered 100,000 acres of maize, beans, cotton. Turquoise mining, macaw feathers from Mexico, shells from California. Trade rivaled Silk Road. Elites wore parrot plumes, etched stones. Commoners farmed terraces, hunted rabbits. Daily rhythms, dawn kiva chants, women grinding corn on metates, men herding turkeys. Basketry, pottery, black-on-white designs, weaving produced art, rivaling medieval tapestries. Ball courts hosted games echoing Mesoamerica. Hierarchy blended spiritual, political, priests divined via stars, villages autonomous, yet Chaco tethered. Mesa Verde's Bandelia later, 1200–1300, perched 100-plus rooms on cliffs, defensive against raids, storing years of corn against drought. Collapse struck hard. 1130–1180, mega drought felled Chaco. 1276–1299, great drought emptied Mesa Verde. Deforestation, soil exhaustion, social strife fueled migrations to modern Hopi, Zuni Rio Grande Pueblos. Kayenta Anasazi adapted, birthing enduring traditions. Hohokam in Arizona, 300–1450, dug 1,000 miles of canals. Platform mounds presaged Mississippian influence. Their ball courts, shell jewelry linked to Mexico, these weren't nomads. Population hit 40,000 in Chaco sphere. Engineering, great houses hold 200,000 timbers 50-plus miles, matches Gothic cathedrals. Kivas evoked underworld journeys, fostering community amid scarcity. Visualize Mesa Verde at dusk, smoke from roof entries, chants echoing canyons, stars guiding farmers. Europe's peasants toiled fiefs, Pueblos conquered deserts. A testament to adaptation, their legacy lives in Hopi kachinas, Zuni fetishes. America's medieval tapestry nears completion, urban peaks, forest pacts, desert defiance. But why oblivion? We've toured America's medieval mosaic, Cahokia's throngs, Iroquois councils, Pueblo strongholds. Each thrived 500 to 1500 AD, matching Europe's feats sans Old World tech. Yet, textbooks skip them. Why? Timing doomed visibility. Cahokia crumbled pre-1400, Pueblo migrations peaked 1300, Iroquois peaked post-1500. Europeans arrived 1492+ to transformed landscapes, abandoned mounds, relocated villages, spinning virgin land myths for manifest destiny. Destruction accelerated. Smallpox killed 90% by 1700, shattering oral histories. Colonists plowed mounds for farms, railroads bisected sites, missionaries demonized pagan rites, US policy forced assimilation, boarding schools erasing languages. Eurocentrism dominated academia until 20th century. Pre-Columbian framed natives as static, mounds dismissed as prehistoric. Pioneering archaeologists like Cyrus Thomas, 1894, proved indigenous origins, but narratives lagged. Modern revival flips scripts. LiDAR unveils Amazon cities, Cahokia UNESCO status, genetic studies trace migrations. Climate proxies reveal droughts, mirroring Europe's famines drove changes, not savagery. Parallels abound. Feudal collapses like Cahokia's, Pueblo kivas as monasteries, Iroquois federalism seeding democracy. America's Middle Ages weren't primitive, they were dynamic, collapsing under environment-hot politics like Rome or Mayans. Rediscovering honors ancestors, descendant tribes steward sites, reviving ceremonies. It challenges Wild West origin myths, revealing sophisticated stewards. This hidden era enriches global history. America wasn't waiting for Europe. It pulsed independently. Mind blown? The full picture redefines continents. America's Middle Ages, no dragons or damsels but earthen empires, woodland republics and cliffside citadels that shaped a continent. From Cahokia's 20,000 souls to Pueblos stargazers, these societies built without blueprints we recognize, yet endured droughts, wars and innovations Europe's knights could envy. Archaeology resurrects their story, proving the US wasn't empty. It teemed with complexity. Dive deeper into our medieval playlist for more shocks, like Europe's forgotten rivals worldwide. What region surprised you most? Drop it in comments. We read everyone. Thanks for watching. History's bigger than textbooks. See you next time.